YouTube, how you doing? This is Raj here from the UK, and I'm back with a fragrance review today. Today I'm going to be talking about a brand called L'Occitan and their fragrance Eau de L'Occitan. Normally what I like to do in my reviews is do a little brief sort of history or sort of introduction to the brand, but I've done a review on L'Occitan's Eau de Vetiver where I talk about the brand, so if you want to know a little bit more detail about that, check out that video. I'm just going to go straight into the packaging. This is the box. L'Occitan Eau de Toilette range tend to have this this design. The only thing different is obviously the name and the colour combination, and it gives you everything you need to know. L'Occitan en Provence, Eau de L'Occitan is Eau de Toilette, and it's a men's fragrance. Got the brand name at the top there, L'Occitan en Provence. And on the back, you won't be able to pick it up, but what's really great about L'Occitan is that they tend to the founder, actually, Olivier Bossan, always gives a few words about the fragrances, and there's always a couple of sentences in there. So if you don't know what a fragrance smells like, you haven't done your research beforehand, and you don't want to necessarily spray it on, you might just give this a quick glance, and it gives you a good idea of what the fragrance is all about. The bottle is pretty cool, reminds me of a sort of rum bottle, kind of a medicine bottle actually, which you might find in your cabinet. Quite elegant, nice amber colour, and fits nicely in the hands. It's a 100 ml bottle, 3.4 fluid ounces. Cap is a little bit loose, to be honest. It's not a big deal. The sprayer works very well. It disperses the fragrances quite wide and is quite generous in the application. In terms of notes, top notes, you're getting lavender and black pepper. You know, my experience with lavender in the past, when I wasn't really into fragrances, was I didn't really have a good I didn't really like it too much, because I'd smelt it in like bad quality air fresheners, and you know those little sachets which you get to put in your wardrobe with your clothes to scent your clothes, and that's kind of what I associated lavender with. I didn't really like it too much, but here, and this is what L'Occitan do actually, they have a strong emphasis on purity and natural ingredients. Not to say that synthetic ingredients are bad, but L'Occitan, on the face of it, tend to just stick to natural essences and oils. This lavender is extremely well done. It's presumably, I can't be 100% sure, but I think they get this from the French Alps, where L'Occitan, where lavender is grown, and it's a really pure scent, nice. I wouldn't like it on its own though, and I'm glad that it's not just there on its own, because what this is coupled with is black pepper. Black pepper is the second top note joining the party, and it's a little bit fiery. It's nothing too over the top. You know, if you do spray a little bit too much, your nose is going to twitch a little bit. It does have that fieriness to it, but it's tamed nicely by the lavender. Basically, they work well in a nice harmonious blend, and it's a great top note composition. Quite smooth actually. You know, it's strange to describe a fragrance as smooth, but this is something I get with L'Occitan fragrances. They're never sort of fragrances, or the notes aren't necessarily jumping out or in your face. They're just kind of quite subtle and quite understated in some ways. And those are the two notes I get, but I kind of get 2.5 to be honest. The half note, it really is a sort of cedarwood, but I couldn't see cedarwood in the description. It's probably maybe another wood, but it could be a cedarwood vetiver mix. It's quite smoky, but not too smoky. It's like a burnt wood sort of scent. Nothing too intense, but it adds a really nice masculine edge to this. And since I'm on the topic of gender actually, I think this is definitely a masculine fragrance. If you're a woman watching this, I would say try it out, but I could probably imagine this more in a man. It's a very masculine scent. This woodiness is adding a nice edge to the fragrance, and it's all working well in a nice blend, a nice harmonious blend. Other notes you get in there are cinnamon and nutmeg. Now, I don't actually pick up cinnamon, to be honest. I pick up nutmeg, definitely. This is bang on nutmeg. I don't have too much experience of nutmeg in fragrances, but I do have a bit of nutmeg in our kitchen actually, and I grated a little bit just to just to see what it smells like, because I haven't smelt nutmeg in a long time, and they have nailed the scent here. This is bang on. L'Occitan have an ability to do a fragrance and do it justice. You know, this is what you're getting in nature replicated in a fragrance, and you got to give them credit. You know, L'Occitan are a company who put a lot of emphasis on natural ingredients and purity of their ingredients, and the source of where their ingredients come from, and their oils and their herbs and aromatics or whatever, you know. So it's no surprise really to me actually that L'Occitan are producing such good quality fragrances, because they have a strong ethos of you know, doing this sort of thing. So I mentioned nutmeg and cinnamon in there, but it never becomes anything too spicy. Again, it's just really a well blended fragrance. Nothing is really jumping out, and nothing is dominating one note is never dominating another note really. It just works well together. And in the base, I get a little bit of musk in there. I did read musk actually as one of the ingredients in the base notes, and it's a slight musk in there. It's nothing too, again, nothing too overpowering. It's just a nice musk, quite masculine, quite dry actually. Kind of like if you get some spices and you roast them on a hot pan or something, and you get that dry scent. Actually, just thinking about it now, it reminds me of Andy Tauer's Eau de L'Occitan, but nothing as intense. There's definitely that element to it. There's definitely that spiciness in there trying to come out, but I think the smokiness, this sort of vetiver, cedarwood smokiness, just kind of like keeps it under the covers. So a really great fragrance here. It's quite simple in many ways, but done really well, and I would prefer that. I would prefer a fragrance which is, each note is done exceptionally well, rather than something which is trying to be a little bit over the top and it doesn't really work and it's a bit of a mismatch. This is just a perfect blend. I would say this is quite versatile. You could probably wear this all year round, probably not in the extreme heat in the summer months, but definitely when it cools down. I find myself reaching for this bottle quite frequently. I've only bought it recently, but I've been using it quite a lot, and I find it very reliable. You don't have to think twice about reaching for the bottle. Sometimes, you know, you think, will this fragrance work in this occasion? You know, you're not going to have any problems with this. If you're looking for a very special occasion fragrance, this is probably not a fragrance you would go for. There are much more daring and much better fragrances out there, to be honest. But this is great value. This is 38 English pounds, which is around, well, I don't know actually, it's about $50 American dollars. For 100 ml, this is great value. L'Occitan Eau de Toilette are exceptional value. You got to give them credit for this. They're not a fragrance company, which I've mentioned in my previous video before. They're not a fragrance company. They're a skincare company who just happen to make exceptional fragrances. What else? I mean, in terms of longevity and projection, kind of average projection, pretty good. You know, nothing too loud. For the first few hours you're going to project a bit. It tends to tone down towards the end of the fragrance, where you get this sort of tonka bean, musk sort of notes coming in there. It does last a long time though. I tend to find it best applied to the chest. I do about 3 to the chest, which is not something I normally do. I tend to maybe spread out the fragrance a little bit more, but I tend to find the best way to get longevity out of this is to apply it to the chest, and it lasts all day. The last few hours are quite close to the skin, but I don't think that's a problem, to be honest. You're going to smell nice all day. Rating, I'm going to say 8 out of 10. I'm going to give this 8 out of 10 because I'm just impressed by L'Occitan generally. The fact that they're not a fragrance company and their fragrances are so good. I definitely recommend this fragrance. It's one of those fragrances which I feel you just kind of have to have in your rotation or your collection. But it's never going to be one of your best fragrances out there. There are better fragrances than this, but this is one of the best value fragrances I've come across. So I would highly recommend this, and I would highly recommend the brand L'Occitan actually. So that's my take on the fragrance. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.